even though this life gets tough, said you gotta keep fighting. And even though it gets hard, it's gonna get hard. You gotta keep striving. But you gotta keep striving. Through the fears and the loss, so the tears won't turn off. No tears, your heart's crying. Hold on to his words. Lean on him, it gets better.
The toughest war you ever face will be domestic. It's elementary, it's been this way for centuries. Cold War was raised against our seed. Take off them blinders, you will see. That it ain't about them gas prices, it's all about who whip the nicest. All about them deals on bundles, Harold Fleet don't make them up. Face beating red bottoms, dead beats we hear about them. Fitted up from head to toe, but never at their children's door. Wonder why they dying by the dozens, but it's simple, yo. Just listen. It's time we stop ignoring facts. It's time we take our family back. Fix the root and then attack. Stop making moves without a plan. Control emotions, then we stand. Calling on my kingdom and to come together. Take this land. We gotta fight, our future depends. Get the head back in order, cause that's where it begins. Invest your all into your garden, water the roots to the end. Nurture the family tree and let the fruit feed all men. Just listen.
Though this life gets tough, said you gotta keep fighting.
Welcome to another episode of A Mile in My Shoes, where we ask the question, how can we say we know someone if we've never heard their story? Tonight, buckle up and get ready. When I think of powerhouse, when I think of warrior, when I think of overcomer, when I think of survivor, when I think of who is the person in a room that's not afraid to take on any bully, when I think of advocate, there is no other name or face that comes to mind outside of this woman right here. Y'all get ready, because without any further ado, Mrs. Shauna, the conduit, welcome to A Mile in My Shoes.
Hey, everybody. Hey,
how are you doing on the day?
Oh, it's been a long day from start to finish, but I'm glad to be above the ground than below.
Yes, indeed. First, I want to say thank you for your time. I know you're busy, and look, I know we got things to do even after this. So
yeah.
I don't want to waste any time. Tonight, I want you to really share with the people who may not know you, those who may not understand you. I want you to give them the background story of who you are, where you come from, and what you have survived and had to overcome. My mouth is closed now.
Picture it, Sicily, 19. No, just playing. I love the Golden Girl, so every time I can make that little joke, I do. Well, who I am depends on who you ask. Who I am depends on who you ask. To some people, I am sweet and kind. To others, I am affectionate and sympathetic.
Yeah.
To some, I am firm and a little brutally honest, right? To others, I am I'm a troublemaker, a shit starter. It just depends on who you ask, right? But I view myself no more than somebody who was given a deck of cards, lost a few, right? Couldn't always win the game, but I still had enough cards to play solitaire with.
Right.
Many people didn't even know I existed. People didn't know I existed until the death of George Floyd.
Yeah.
Now, I had a nonprofit before then, which is my bully box. That's my passion project.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll start there.
Tell us about it.
Bully Box is a nonprofit organization that I founded when I learned of the death by suicide of a 13-year-old boy named Trey Thyson of Baton Rouge. I won't go into all the details about that because I do that every Wednesday. I actually saw his mom yesterday.
Mhm.
And through the time that I've known her since that tragedy, right, I found that I wasn't the only one. That was the first thing that I learned. That was feeling something, right? Um, I made a network of ladies and gentlemen and children that I was able to share um, stories with. And when I say share stories, and I guess that's how it's gonna start unfolding, because we had no practice at all. I didn't write down anything.
Mm-mm.
Um, people ask all the time, "How were you in high school?" I don't really remember how
Yeah.
people saw me in high school. Now, my best friend can give you, attestation to, the kind of person that I was, but I was actually very, I was very shy inside. I felt that because I was so insecure that I had to be in the front all the time,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
People would look at my life and say that I had great parents, and I did. I had wonderful parents. My parents are still living. My mom was very stern. My dad was very stern. I had three brothers. People ask me why I'm so, kind of hard sometimes. I had three brothers,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they were all older than me. So it was instilled in me at a very early age, independence, right? Um, but when I got to about 12, 13,
Mm-hmm.
I started having those things that happen to adolescents, especially adolescent girls. You get the surge in hormones and whatnot, and you begin to try to find yourself. Your body's changing. And, I had an Achilles tendon. And I learned about an Achilles tendon in a counseling session when I was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
People thought that I was, I don't know where they thought, but I was going on, I think it was Tuesdays and Thursdays, but I was going to a counselor,
Yeah.
right? Because I struggled with who I was. When I got about 13, I noticed that I didn't look quite like my siblings.
Yeah.
You know, um, I felt that, and I emphasize felt because we'll talk about feelings later. Feelings can mislead you. Um, I felt that I wasn't being treated like, my other siblings. I felt like, my sister got more attention than me. And um, so I rebelled a lot. I rebelled a lot. I did things that I knew good and well.
Yeah.
Good and well
Yeah.
wasn't right. And some things happened during my school years that shouldn't have happened because the adults knew that it wasn't right, right? Um, so I was introduced to promiscuity quite early, and
Yeah.
it wasn't a willing type of situation, right? So I began to struggle with my identity.
Yeah.
I wore the real thick eyeglasses. Um, I got teased about it a lot, and it would be upfront teasing sometimes, and then it'd be that slick slide, throw shade
Yeah.
kind
Yeah.
of teasing. Actually, I ran into a girl the other day in the racetrack. She asked me why I don't go to the class reunions. And although, a lot of my classmates I still talk to this day, they're very successful. Class of 93 was a hell of a class, but some of them people in there was not kind,
Yeah.
and I teach that to children that when you hurt somebody, you can't put a time limit on their healing. You can't tell me, oh, it's been 30 years since you've been out of high school. Get over it. No,
No, I don't work like that.
no, it doesn't. And so I battled a lot. I battled a lot, and it's crazy sometimes to think of to hear how people view me, right? And people don't know that sometimes and historically, I ain't have this strength
Yeah.
at all. I didn't know what a strength was or
Right.
resilience for that matter, right? So I can't remember exactly what year it was, but I want to say my son was he was still watching Blues Clues.
Mm-hmm.
So this has been a minute. My son is 24 now, right?
Yeah.
I got addicted to crack cocaine. I was dating a guy that sold it. Um, and he went to jail, right? Whole lot of things transpired. He went to jail, and I couldn't deal with that. I felt abandoned, because I
Yeah.
loved him, right? I loved him. Oh my God, he's going to jail. So I began to use the supply that he left.
Yeah.
I can remember the day that I did it. It was in October. And ironically, and I've never said this out loud, by the way. I can remember the night that we went to go, quote, get the supplies, because just things you need to smoke crack.
Yeah.
All right. When we went to the store, who you think I ran into at about 11:30, 12 o'clock at night? Of all people, my mom.
Oh
She was
Lord.
in Walmart, and I ran into her, and it was like, I said, well, what you doing here? She said,
Right.
what you doing here? I said, I just came to pick up some things, so that should have been a sign right there. But that started about a 5, 6 year journey.
Mm.
It went from cocaine, which was introduced before the crack, but then it progressed on over to crack cocaine, and it was a nightmare. It was not. I didn't give two shits
Mm-hmm.
about nothing. Addiction is the devil.
Yeah.
It's the devil.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, I ended up rekindling a relationship from the 90s and got married.
Yeah.
Moved away because that's the one thing people in recovery must understand. Former addicts, they need to understand that when you want to truly be clean, you have to leave. You have to leave, and you have to leave all of that behind, right?
Y'all heard that? When you're truly ready to be clean, you have to leave.
You have to leave. You have to leave because if you cannot, if you became dirty in an environment, you can't become clean in the same environment. It doesn't walk. Doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
All right. So I left, got married, stayed gone 15 years. That's how long I stayed. I would come and visit,
Yeah.
right? Um, but life happened. Got a divorce. Could not afford to keep my home, right?
Yeah.
Because I had not started working as a nurse yet. I had just graduated, and which is a story all in itself because that came up during that George Floyd era. Um, my past, I had to fight for my nursing license.
Yeah.
When I say fight for it, I mean retain an attorney. I mean go to court because I didn't hide the fact that I was an addict,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it was held against me, and I had
Mm-hmm.
to ask permission from a board of people that I still don't know. I've never met them, never seen them. But they sat and they decided my fate. And in my 3-page letter to them, I pretty much told them everything I'm telling you right now. Life happened,
Yeah.
but who I was doesn't have anything to do with what I will become.
Yeah. Who I
Nothing at all.
was doesn't have anything to do with who I will become.
Nothing. Nothing. And I know there's a lot of people that'll disagree with that, but even the Bible will tell you he has
Mm-hmm.
to wash you,
Yeah.
something like that. White as
Mm-hmm.
snow. That means to cleanse. That means to take off, to get rid of. That means your slate is clean, right? So,
Behold, all things become new.
mhm, absolutely. First become last, last become. He's very specific.
Mm-hmm.
So I lost my home after I, left. My husband and I separated and ultimately got divorced. And I had to move back to Opelousas, Louisiana. 2017, Christmas, December 9th to be exact, because I was trying to beat the snow.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, that brought on a state of depression, child, that I didn't.
Look, you leave, you clean it up.
Mhm.
Never imagine it coming back. Now
Hell
you
no.
coming back.
If I was to come back, it would have been the last comeback selection,
Yeah.
right? I became quite depressed. Um, the first person that I actually reconnected with was Paula Jordan. She has Jordan Consultants,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember calling her for a job because I was a nurse, and I needed some connections, right?
Yeah.
And long story short, she became the go-to person, um, incidentally, that when I felt really, really down, because what people didn't know was, even though I smiled and I helped others, I
Yeah.
was hurting. And
Mm-hmm.
when nighttime came, tears fell.
Yeah.
I didn't feel that I had anything left to give anyone or anybody,
Yeah.
especially me.
Mm.
And I was in a sunken place. That's what my friend Roz calls it, the sunken place, right? And I tried to commit suicide while I was here.
Wow.
Hmm. No one knew that. No one cared.
Yeah.
And let me retract that, because my best friend will slap me. When I say no one cared, the people that attacked me the most didn't care,
Yeah.
right? Because in the midst of all of that happening in my life, I still have children. I have a son who was going into his second semester of college. I
Yeah.
had not only lost my home, but my job as well, because I was in a whole nother city, right? I didn't um I didn't have anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
So George Floyd, we watch him for over 8 minutes get brutally murdered, suffocated, denied
Mm-hmm.
oxygen from medical professionals. And
Yeah.
that really ticked me off, right? So I I remember sharing the post, and I shared many of them because it pissed me off, and my hashtag was expose racism,
Yeah.
right? I shared a post that had a certain Acadian ambulance employee, and it got the attention of the president of the corporation,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I still have that email, that text message in my phone. I still
Yeah.
have it. And he pretty much expressed his sincerest condolences, on the effect that our community was having, and that Acadian Ambulance had a very strict policy, that
Mm-hmm.
they did not agree with the sentiments of the person, and pretty much, said that they would rectify the situation. Next thing I know, because I get up and I go to work, it's, to me, at the time, it was just Facebook.
Yeah.
It was just Facebook. It was just Facebook. So I get up the next day and I go to work. And I'm a nurse, so we couldn't have our phone on the floor, right?
Mm.
So when I would go and take my smoke breaks in the back, I grab my phone and I'm looking at my phone, and there's activity on my phone that I ain't never seen, because who am I?
Uh-oh.
I had maybe 400 friends on Facebook. Didn't even have an Instagram yet. No Snap, no TikTok. TikTok, I don't even, well, TikTok might have been out. It wasn't hyped to me.
Yeah, yeah.
Didn't know. So I'm looking, what in the hell going on? So
Phone
then a
binging.
call comes to my phone, and I have no clue who this is, and it's Tanya Bolden Ball. Can I help you, ma'am? She said, sis. And she said it just like that. She said, sis, you have stepped in the forefront and you need to handle it accordingly. Now, again,
So just like that.
yes, sir. Now, this is in the midst of me losing my home, losing my marriage of 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
My son is in college. My two girls are just now transitioning into the same difficult stage that I mentioned about earlier. All of that is transpiring. And now I am the face of one of the most devastating murders to our people that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So that prompted, and one day, Humble, I'll show them to you. I still have them. Sometimes I have to remind myself, right? I watched people threaten me on social media. I shared one the other day. One guy said he was going to hit me in the head with a can of baked beans when he see me. Um, Another one said that I needed to be beat up glory style. Now I don't know if that was some undercover KKK conversation there. I don't know, but people reached out to me and thought enough of my life to not just give me advice through it, but protect me while in it.
Mm.
Shout out to my squares. They know who they are. Mega Gun Club, all of that. So in the midst of my own mess, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm watching black man after black man after black man get murdered.
Yeah.
Then they broadcasted it, George Floyd's murder, from start to finish nationally. And then we had people poking fun of it on social media. But somehow I was the problem now. So I
Hmm.
didn't just get threats and attacks from some white people. And I'm not going to say all white people, because my mother was a white lady, my birth mother. She was white, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I got it from some of us as well. People
Yeah, you was
telling
in the middle of it.
people telling me that I wasn't really black, which angered me because, and now we're gonna really back up. This is why I advocate for children so much, because that's the same thing children used to tease me about. It's why you ain't got no mama. It's why your mama did. They used to say all those things. And I didn't ask for my mother, Nina Faye Hopkins Bush, that was her name, to go and be with Weldon Donnell artists back in 1975. I didn't ask for that. My
Mm-hmm.
mother was actually instructed by her Catholic mother to go and abort me. That's what she was instructed to do. So she was shipped from Happy, Texas, down to Lafayette, Louisiana,
Mm-hmm.
Carmel Drive, right
Mm-hmm.
behind Lafayette Social Services.
Yeah.
There used to be houses, little houses, where the women that were off at boarding school would go and have babies, and
Yeah.
those babies would be given up for adoption.
Wow.
I was one of those babies.
Wow.
So I didn't ask for that. So, yes, watching George Floyd die and scream for his mama and then have it poked fun of, that angered and it hurt me.
Mm-hmm.
It hurt me. It hurt me because it 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 made me realize that $20. A possible counterfeit $20 bill was all that man was worth.
Man.
I watched the ambulance driver not respond
Mm-hmm.
on that scene. I
Yeah.
watched, and then fast, go forward. We went through all of that. I'm still getting attacked,
Yeah.
right? During that entire process. It was then that I knew my purpose was different. My
Mm-hmm.
purpose was different. Some people can remember in high school how I took up for them. I just always thought it was doing the right thing,
Yeah.
right? I didn't necessarily want to do it.
Yeah.
I was just always made available from a kid to present day.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
always taken care of others, right? So, what do I do now? Yeah, um,
Same thing.
yeah.
Stand up to the giants.
hmm and that was my thing. Um, and although it hurt reading some of those things,
Yeah.
although it hurt having to be investigated, because that's what they did. They looked up some things on social media. They called Louisiana State Board of Practical Nurse Examiners and reported me for all kinds of things. And not only was I reported, I was investigated. Well, they tried. Let me correct. They
Mm-hmm.
tried.
Yeah.
But what you wasn't going to do was participate in others trying to minimize and mock the death of a black man by attacking this black woman.
Mm.
So thanks to Attorney John Milton, that's who that was, Attorney John Milton, he pretty much wrote a letter to board,
Yeah.
and they gave me a warning, but I still said what I said.
Yeah.
I said what I said, and I stood on it then,
Stood on it. Yeah.
and I
Stood on
stand
it.
on it now, which is, it also coincides with what my nonprofit does. I
Yeah.
founded a nonprofit. We have a board, right? But the ultimate idea is to get people to understand that the people that you punish are usually the victims.
Mm. Break that
Mhm.
down.
In a bullying situation, okay, there are components, right? There are components to bullying, but overall, when a fight break out, when an altercation happens, it's because a limit has been reached. Okay. So we respond to this up here. We get to the limit. Oh, y'all fighting. Oh, y'all carrying on. We
What?
suspension.
Don't
We miss
address all of this.
all this down here. We miss the rolling of the eyes. We miss that nonverbal kind. And most importantly, we didn't listen to when
Mm.
they told us, man, that girl picking on me. I
Yeah.
don't like when she do that. Oh, don't worry about that. Have tough skin. Get over it. You can't stop nobody from saying what they say. And that's true. But you can't step on my foot and don't expect me to tell you stepped on my foot.
Why do you think it's like that? Because that still takes place today.
It's worse. Um, I can only speak for on in the black community that I have affiliated with.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's because we are trained to think that all we are worth is what we have. We are trained to believe that all we are worth is what we have. You could be catching hell on a job. I promise you, an older person gonna tell you, you need that job. They got good benefits on that
You
job. Now
better be
you go
glad you
there,
got that job.
and you do what the people tell me. You hear? Man,
That mentality.
if it's not right, I don't care who telling me. I'm
Yeah.
not doing it. I'm
Yeah.
not doing it. And that's what I try to teach children. I know how they feel. I know what they go through, and I know how they feel about adults because I feel about them like that sometimes my own self. That's why I tell people I don't deal with adults. I deal in the realm of children because children have the capacity to want to do better. Some adults don't.
Yeah.
Some of them don't. They like mediocrity,
Mm-hmm.
and they like to dwell in the realm of complacency.
Mm.
I don't like that. I've lived there before.
Oh yeah.
I've lived there before. The rent is too high. You
I
gotta
wa-
pay too much.
I watched one of your last videos, and you said something very powerful. You brought up a topic,
Hmm.
and it was like doing the awareness is good, but I want to get on the level of prevention. Break that
Hmm.
down to people.
Well, awareness is okay. I know. Thanks for telling me. Appreciate you. It's Thursday. I'm aware that it's Thursday. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Saturday's coming. 4th of July. I'm aware of that. Prevention comes in that after you're aware, are you going to make a plan or give an education or teach somebody how to prevent a catastrophe
Yeah.
from the awareness?
Yeah.
You're aware of the speed limit. Do you go 97, 100 knowing what's going to happen? You're preventative. You don't speed,
Right.
right? Same approach should be taken, not in life, period.
Yeah.
In life, period. Why do you have to wait for the bottom to fall out to do something?
Since we on the bullying, I really want to talk about this, man, because
Hmm?
it's something, especially being a mentor, it's something I see all the time. What do you say to the parents of those bullies that's causing all the chaos?
That's always a very sensitive subject.
How you address
I
that?
I say that because what the child is being bullied about might be true.
Mm-hmm.
They might stink.
Mm-hmm.
Their clothes might be dirty. Their shoes might not be appropriate for school. Them
Yeah.
pants may be too tight, right? So that's actually another reason why the child shouldn't be punished because all of the things that they're being bullied for is absolutely true. So now I have to go and I have to tell mom, dad, grandma, whoever it is, um, where are you today?
Mm,
That's the first question I ask. Where are you today?
that's a good one.
And most of the time they be, what you mean? Well, I want to let you know what's going on with so and so. Children are saying very mean things,
Yeah.
right? They're saying these things. How can I assist you in not being in that predicament to have those mean things said to her?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've encountered parents that the reason why the child doesn't have any shoes is because the four other ones needed them first. Or I couldn't buy the grocery and get the shoes because let me dispel a myth that people with children or a lot of children automatically receive government assistance or food stamps. Okay.
Mm.
The threshold, the threshold to receive food stamps, I want to say you can't make more than, I think it was, last time I looked, it was $1,200 a month.
Yeah, it's rough.
Right. So who, it's actually not that many of us that's below that.
Yeah.
Okay, now we have spurts. We make just enough money to not get government assistance. So we're gonna dispel that theory. But children get bullied at school most often for things that they have zero control over.
Control over. Nope.
Hmm. And when they try to talk to someone about it, they're not in a predicament where they should even be half the time. So no, don't worry about what the children say. The children know she needs to worry about her own mama, and then they start talking about each other. Keep in mind, most of the children that go to public schools all live within the vicinity of each other. Keep that in mind. Unless your child goes to a private school,
Yeah. Yeah.
they all live in the vicinity of each other. But now it's not about just where you live. We got social media. So not only do they get bullied in their face, they get bullied behind their back because not all children have cell phones.
How did that change
The
bullying
world,
once the internet
the world.
came
You gave them
involved in it?
access to more people that could hurt them, to insult. And I watch it all day. Hell, I'm a victim half the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm a victim of it half the time. I've watched a grown woman, 60-something years old, make fun of me, compare me to Fiona, and make fun of my mother being dead and giving me up for adoption. She called me a Plan B failure. 60-something years old. So this is why children do it, because they watch the adults responsible. We don't even have to talk about what's going on at your home because this is just secondhand information. We can talk about the bullying at school from the administrators, teachers, coaches,
Ooh.
trusted people. Trusted people. So we wonder why kids so rough to each other.
Man.
Humble. I go to a jail on Sundays. Well, thankfully to Corey Levier, that has now been taken off of me because that's something that I cannot. I can go once every now and again. That's something that's not for me.
Yeah.
But I go and I used to go and talk to the juveniles that are in there for murder. One of the juveniles told me, had I had anything like your program, I wouldn't have done what I did. I wouldn't have done that. He said, but I had to get it how I live.
Yeah.
And I never knew what that was growing up. Right? I grew up just fine.
Yeah.
You know, I had two parents in the home. We lived in a beautiful home off of Austin Road.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I didn't understand what get it how you live mean until I became an adult. And I began to listen to children. I know exactly what's wrong with a child, not because I'm psychic, because I listen.
You listen to them.
I ask and I listen. I don't care what I'm doing. I will ignore a call from an adult, but I ain't about to ignore no call from a kid.
How much power do you think that is if you could speak to all the parents out there if they actually take time and listen to their children?
We could change our entire community one kid at a time. And let me tell you why parents don't want to listen sometimes. They about to be pissed off with me.
Uh-oh. Hold on. Let me put it up first. Hold on.
They about to
That-
be pissed off with me. The reason why parents don't take the time to listen to their children at times is because you will then have to be held accountable for the answer.
Mm. Running from accountability.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. If a child has a problem, the parent or guardians
Mm-hmm.
are the ones that are literally at the root of that. Now, don't get me
Mm.
wrong. I raised my children pretty much by myself. My son for sure. My son for sure. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I know what it's like. I know firsthand what it's like.
Yeah.
When my son was attempting to make bad decisions, it's because I was giving him a bad example.
Mm.
And sometimes no example is a bad example.
That's a big one. No example is a bad example. That's deep.
Mm-hmm. If I don't practice good behavior, how will you know what good behavior is?
Mm.
You won't know. You won't know. So what did I do? What did Shauna Sias do? Shauna Sias had a stroke. I used to get on
Oh,
Facebook and cut the hell up. I used to cut up. And I still said what I said. I'm not saying I took back anything. I'm not saying that. But the delivery
yeah.
caused me to have stroke. Right? So God sat me down. That's what I told Kishara. God literally sat me down for 16 days and he gave me an assignment. My assignment was to protect his precious little ones.
Mm.
That was my assignment. Come hell or high water, gal, you gonna protect my precious little ones because
Mhm.
they're losing it.
Yeah.
And
Literally.
he said, start here. And I looked, I said, well, where in the hell is here? What are you talking about? On this paper, in this bed? I'm in the bed, I can't do anything. He said, start here. Where? What are you talking about? Start, well, you keep saying start here. Oh, start here. Got it. So I took this, the whole body, the soul, the mind, and every thought that I had, and I went to church.
Mm.
This is the first place I would talk to my pastor. Is
Yeah.
what I did. And I called my best friend of 46 years, and I said, Nina, I think I got it. I know how to reach the children now. Because before I was just burning gas going to schools, hoping they donate the gas back, talking to kids, hoping to save one, maybe, reaching one, giving events where 2 or 3 would show up, but still those 2 or 3 were important, right? I called my best friend. I said, Nina, I got it. I said, let's make a curriculum because
Mm.
that's her brain. Nina, that's what she did for a living. That's her company now, Grand Elevation. She is a professional developer. And the first thing she told me, she said, Buffy, you're gonna have to, that's what they call me, Buffy.
Mm-hmm.
She said, Buffy, you're gonna have to calm down a little bit. I said, okay. And I was a little resistant at
Yeah.
first because sometimes people don't listen to nothing but rough. Sometimes you have to, especially in wound care, because I'm a nurse.
Yeah.
So I always relate something to the body. In wound care, sometimes it hurts.
Yeah.
Debridement hurts because you got to get off the dead skin, and you can't do it all soft and kind. You have to hurry up because
Get
if
in
you
there.
do it longer, it lingers. The pain lingers, and I don't know your pain tolerance level,
Yeah.
right? So sometimes you have to be abrasive. She said, but not all the time.
Yeah.
So we had countless hours, countless days, over and over, sleepless nights for her. We took all of my experiences, even hers, Dr. Thyssen, which is Trey's mom, her experience. He is at the heart of all of it because had somebody at school listened, had somebody on social media taken up for him, maybe just once is what his mom said, maybe he wouldn't have.
Yeah.
So I don't dwell in the land of maybe, but I do operate well in the realm of uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So we created a curriculum and we go out and we teach them what bullying is because let me let every adult know. Children's everyday communication with each other, which what they call JOSIN, is by textbook definition bullying.
Oh yeah, it's rough.
So
That
their
dosing is rough.
normal, let me say it to you again. Their normal communication between their peers is by adult definition bullying. So we're holding them to bullying standards, but not teaching them why their language with each other is inappropriate.
Mm.
That's
Now,
why your mama did.
look,
Don't say
now,
that to each other. Don't
look,
kill yourself.
I
Hmm?
got you for a few more minutes. I want you to break down what the course teaches, and then I want you to give us how to get in contact with you. I want to look. I'm watching the
Yeah.
time because I'm being respectful, but I want to get all this in on this video, what the course entails, and how they can get in contact with you to bring you on to do that course.
Well, there's two parts. Some people cannot afford the curriculum because our curriculum allots for 60 children. We provide all materials. We also give a scholarship at the end of that 8 weeks, because so it's an 8 week program after school once a week, or it could be 2 days a week for 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
In those 8 modules, we cover everything from the definition of bullying to how to report, how to respond, leadership, suicide awareness. We actually touch on that in module 7, which is where I pull in my partners in the mental health world: Tasha DeVille, Scholar Jenkins, Javon Darborn, OT
Mm-hmm.
Rich, all of these people, Reginald LaMelle. I pull them in because that's always a sensitive module. And then we've also put in a financial literacy component. Why? Because it's going to be this generation that's going to get their family out of poverty.
Come on now.
So I'm not planning for the right now. I'm trying to be a repair woman for the human infrastructure. And we got to start at the bottom. So to get our curriculum, you can go on the website.
Mm-hmm.
Who facilitates it? I do. We also have other trained facilitators. Nina will also be offering facilitative training for BullyBox coming up. Well, we will train you for our curriculum, but you have to be approved because we don't want anybody that, number one, thinks bullying ain't a problem.
Yeah.
That's number one. If you don't think bullying is the number two, second to murder,
Yeah.
we don't want you.
Yeah.
We don't want anybody that's coming that want just a part-time something to do. Children ain't part-time. They my time all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we can go into schools, we can go into church, we can go wherever you want to go. You can go straight to the website and fill out and request an RFP.
What's the website?
www.thebullyboxpassion.com. And actually it was updated today. So shout out to King Cliff Roy with Penn Solutions. He's a beast. He's a beast.
Look, I know we on time constraints. I'm gonna have to have you back for some more of the story and some more of what y'all do. Look, I appreciate you coming through, and like I said, I didn't know it was that deep with the curriculum and everything else. As far as
Yeah. The reason we had to do that because obviously going around and talking to children, it was not, to me, and data speaking analytically, right? We weren't doing what people would pay for.
yeah, yeah,
I think one child is enough.
right,
But realistically speaking, that's not how the world works. The world wants to see data, right? So Nina actually fixed it to where we send out a pre-survey to get an idea of where the school is. Then we give them a post-survey and we get an idea on where they are then.
yeah,
We share that information with the administrator, the principals. Nina even can do training for your teachers for them to be able to identify a bullying crisis. Because one missed bullying event can be a suicide attempt.
and
Period.
look, shout out to y'all for stepping into the business part because a lot of us have gifts and want to do things. You have to have the business part. That's the only way to truly break into that system to be able to truly help.
Well, I'm thankful to my best friend because that is her lane right there. I'm the compassionate and empathetic and face. I don't mind pissing adults off at the sake of
Yeah.
saving a kid. I don't.
Right.
And I've lost many jobs
Yeah.
because of it. And I don't care. I'll
Look,
lose many more.
on the behalf
God gave
of
me an
all,
assignment.
look, on the
I
behalf,
tell kids, walk on purpose, in purpose.
look, on the behalf of all the parents in the community, all the children that you help, we appreciate all that you do and all that you pour into so many people, because they probably have people that have never heard of you but have felt the effects of the benefits of the things that you do.
No, thank you.
Definitely give you your flowers while you're here. Look, I'm watching that clock. Like I said, thank you again for coming. Y'all drop some
Thank
hearts.
you.
Y'all shout aloud. Thank y'all for walking a mile with the conduit, so we can know a little bit more about her story, know what she does, and any way y'all can out there, support her, support what she does. The website is right there below. For the churches, for the pastors, youth groups, sports teams, it's an investment that is definitely worth making. It's an investment that is definitely worth making, man.
Actually, one of your followers, Shannon Comrie, there's a video of him on the website so he can see it.
Look, that's my big brother, man.
He knows how Bully Box works.
And look, I appreciate you. And like I said, get to your meeting, get to your
Gotta
rehearsal.
go to rehearsal.
Thank you again. We going
Thank
out with
you.
a song, y'all. Mile in my shoes.
And even though it gets hard, you gotta keep striving. Through the fears and the loss, so the tears won't turn off. No, he hears your heart's cry. Hold on to his words. Lean on him. It gets better by and by.
And to my queens, I see y'all in a different way. It's more to y'all than posing pictures on your Facebook page. God giving power to uplift a man, to make a slave, speak life into our dreams, or tear us down and watch us fade away. Know y'all position, cause you're vital to the family structure, no replacing any mother. Careful how you treating love. Elegant, heaven sent etiquette is like no other. Her love is better than buttered biscuits right out the oven. Know who you are, don't let this world define, shape or mold you. God's daughter, queen of nations, there's no box to ever hold you. Life creator, womb protector, heaven sent, love injector, backbone, best gift ever, worth more than hidden treasure. I speak life, cause this world is trying to turn you cold. Replace that heart of stone with flesh. We need your love to make us whole. Kick back your crown and hold us down. Together, we won't fold. Get back to love how God intended. Change to make this family
Even though this life is tough, said you gotta keep